There we go. Camera is on. What's up, everybody? You guys are cracking me up here in the chat with me obviously running late. I had to prepare, man. I had to prepare, but these were actually cracking me up. Here we go. I thought I was late, but apparently not. I see you, Sean. Being late is a form of bullying. Zach, where are you? I'm here. I'm here. And here we go. He's watching the Olympics. Zach just fashionably late to his own party. And then here we go. He's tweeting. You guys have seen me. You know, I've been going off on X a little bit, and it's just because of all of this madness, man. It's a battlefield right now. So anyway, I'm here. Thank you guys for waiting. Let's get into it. We got a lot to go through today. We got an important show. We're going to start here. Pam Bondi testified before the House Judiciary Committee yesterday, to defend the Department of Justice and its handling of the Epstein Files. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how could she possibly defend herself given how poorly this has been handled? Well, if you didn't think that it could get any worse for Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and the Trump administration at large over the Epstein Files, think again. Trump posted praising Pam Bondi's performance, which, as you're about to see, is completely detached from reality, given these couple of heated moments and historically bad answers that she gave. Couple this with undercover video that was put out, which basically catches Pam Bondi red-handed as a liar. Yeah, it's not looking good for her right now. It's funny, you know, Pam Bondi gets embarrassingly steamrolled by, for the most part, I mean, there's a couple of good guys, steamrolled by these dimwits in Congress, and Trump praises her for it while at the same time firing Carrie Prejean Bowler from his Religious Liberties Commission for truly stating that her faith, her Catholic faith, causes her to not embrace Zionism. Make it make sense. Ted Cruz, though, decided that he was going to pile on to attack Bowler and every other non-Christian, non-Zionist Christian, who has believed the lies that they have been fed. And he has decided to tell us, the non-Zionists, what we really mean when we say that we are not Zionists. You know what, though? My fellow Goyim, you're just not programmed correctly with the right and truthful information. This is your problem. I'm going to start here with this clip of Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson. This was a key moment in this whole debate and adds very important context for everything that we are going to discuss today. Rewatching this put me in a good mood. Tucker's reaction cracks me up here while also making Ted Cruz look like an absolute fool for trying to explain and defend Christian Zionism. Let's get started. I'm Zach Costello.
You suggested it was a strange thing that I said a minute ago that when I came into the Senate, I resolved that I was going to be the leading defender of Israel. And what you didn't ask is why. So let me tell you why.
No, you said I was obsessed with Israel, and you had just told me that, like, your driving motive to get to the Senate was to defend Israel. I'm like, I don't think I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel.
Okay.
I don't even think about Israel.
Tucker, words matter.
Uh-huh.
And you know that. I said I resolved to be the leading defender of Israel, and you said your driving motive, the reason you're in the Senate.
You want to be the leading defender of Israel. I would think if I ran for Senate, I'd be like, there are people dying of drug ODs on the street.
My driving motive is to fight for Texas and America, and to fight for jobs, and to fight for the Constitution. And you played a very, very careful word game of a lie to you.
You're the one who said it, not me.
So you still haven't asked why, but I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. So look, whenever you get in a bad mood over this topic, just go back and watch that clip. It's honestly hilarious the way that Tucker sets him up here when he asks where that verse is from. Tucker knows it's from the Old Testament, Genesis, but Cruz doesn't even know. He just has it memorized to support his agenda, which I'm sorry, many evangelicals do when it comes to the Bible. But we'll get to that in a second. Because this is the theology that Ted Cruz relies upon to attack Carrie Prejean Bowler. We're just going to call her CBP. Right? Okay? Take a look at this. What Ted Cruz says here is, I don't know who this woman is. Or I don't know this woman, but this is just sad. Let's be clear. It was President Trump who fired her. I can't speak to her heart, but she has been fed lies. Fed lies. Those who scream, I hate Zionists, really mean, I hate Jews. No, we're not. No, we're not saying that. Being a Zionist simply means you think Israel should exist. No, it does not. Then he goes on, there are 57 million countries on earth. The poor thing has been deluded into thinking that the fact that Israel exists in the promised land given to the Jewish people thousands of years ago by Jehovah, now he's getting into what Zionist ideology actually is somehow the source of all of her troubles. And no, Catholics don't hate Israel. As Charlie Kirk said, appealing to Charlie Kirk here, said repeatedly, anti-Semitism is brain rot. And someone who has been pouring this poison into her head. Jesus was a Jew. There's some gaslighting Christians right there. And no Bible-believing Christian hates Jews. I pray that she read the gospel and realizes this. Okay. Ted Cruz is telling us here what we really mean when we say Zionist. First of all, CBB never stated that she hated Zionists. She said that she does not embrace Zionism. She was also simply just asking the question, if I do not embrace Zionism because of my faith, am I anti-Semitic? That's the question that she asked. The answer to that question was yes. All very relevant for a hearing on religious liberty in America. Ted Cruz says that she and the rest of us Christians who are not Zionists have been fed lies. This means the apostles, church fathers, and 2,000 years of Orthodox Christian doctrine on the relationship between Christians and Jews were feeding lies. He writes that being a Zionist means you think Israel shouldn't exist. That's not true. That is not what the definition of Zionism is. He contradicted himself in his own post when he revealed the cards of what Zionism actually is, when he mentioned Jehovah. I believe, for example, the country of Mexico has the right to exist as a foreign nation. Does this make me a Mexicanist? I believe Canada has the right to exist. Am I a Canadaist? Zionism is an ideology that believes the biblical Israel, the Israel of the Old Testament, is the current nation state of Israel. You heard him just admit that to Tucker Carlson. And that they have a covenantal right to this land. And that this nation state is God ordained and God protected. And because of this divine specialness, they then are not subject to the same standards as the rest of the world, as the rest of the world's countries are. And this allows them to operate from a supremacist perspective, get away with things other countries cannot, and infiltrate other countries and their governments, media, and religious belief systems, like Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, Lindsey Graham, and all of the other 446 members of Congress that take pro-Israel money to protect and promote this ideology according to their Christian faith. You see how all of this works? Ted Cruz finishes this by saying, I pray that she read the gospel and realizes this. He seems to think that the gospel and that the book of Genesis 12:3, which is what he's citing there, that's not the gospel, guys. He cites this verse all of the time to justify Christian Zionism. This part of the Old Testament is not the gospel. The Old Testament is not the gospel. The New Testament is the gospel. The good news that the Jewish Messiah has come. That's the gospel. Ted Cruz should start with reading Acts of the Apostles. That would be my advice to him. This would give him a clearer understanding of the relationship between Christians and Jews. But it is precisely this, you guys, that conservative Christians in America are so sick and tired of. What Ted Cruz describes in that clip with Tucker is what Christian Zionism is. It is not merely and innocently the right for Israel to exist as a sovereign nation. That's gaslighting and a cloak to trick you. Pay attention to it. Or, according to Mike Huckabee, Trump's U.S. ambassador to Israel, it's just downloading your mind with the correct and true information. That's all they need to do. Listen.
But where does that come from? You know, there's a difference between dumb and ignorant. Dumb is that a person cannot process information. They just don't have the capacity. They don't have an operating system, if I put it in computer language. Ignorance is that the data isn't there. What we're dealing with is not an operating system problem. It's a data problem. We have not downloaded the proper data, the correct, the true data into the minds of younger people. And we've assumed that they're going to grow up intellectually curious and intellectually honest, and that they will look for themselves. But they're not. That's the problem. They're not looking. They're taking at face value what some podcaster says. And the result is absolutely dangerous.
So you see, you're either just dumb or ignorant. You've not had the false data in your mind replaced with the true and correct data that you need in order to embrace and channel your inner Zionist. It's in there, you guys. We just need a software update. And you need to stop listening to what some podcaster says. They just need to listen to this government official. Okay? All right. Here, nobody listen to me or any podcaster on this topic. I turn you to Christ, the apostles, Paul's letters, Acts of the Apostles, the church fathers, and the thousands of years of commentary by saints and martyrs on the subject of the relationship between Christians and Jews. Just take the first 1,000 years of Christianity. Take that and look through what they had to say. Seriously, who do these people think that they are? It gets worse, though. And I was very disappointed to see this, because it isn't just evangelical Zionists attacking with all of this stuff. There's Zionists everywhere, including within our own Orthodox traditions, particularly the Catholic Church. Look at this. It's extremely alarming and dangerous, and this applies to all of us conservative Christians here. America's largest Catholic civil rights organization, the Catholic League, which was founded, as you can see, to defend the right of Catholics, lay and clergy alike, to participate in American public life without defamation or discrimination. Motivated by the letter and the spirit of the First Amendment, the Catholic League works to safeguard both religious freedom the Catholic League works to safeguard both the religious freedom rights and the free speech rights of Catholics whenever and wherever they are threatened. Okay? They came out and they called CBP a rogue Catholic. The president of the Catholic League, who you just saw there in that first video that I had just shared with you, is Bill Donahue. And he wrote, as you can see at the bottom right there, at 9:57 a.m., I called for the ouster of Carrie Prejean Bowler from the President Trump Religious Liberty Commission. I just learned that the commission chairman, Dan Patrick, gave her the boot at 9:03. He's flexing there. I told him to do it at 9:57. They did it at 10:03. Kudos to him. That's a flex. But get that straight. The top defender of Catholic rights in America has chosen not to defend the Catholic or Catholic rights and the Catholic teaching, and apparently agree with the Zionists on this committee, on this commission. And they apparently agree that the refusal to embrace Zionism is anti-Semitic, because that's exactly what CPB had asked, and that's why she got in trouble. If you are a donor of the Catholic League or have any affiliation with them, do you know this? Bill Donahue's relevance, the president of this organization, is obviously fading away. Younger Orthodox Christians are sick and tired of this boomer post-World War II Zionist Christianity. It is clear, and it is time for a change of the old guard. We need a better and more effective organization to defend the rights of Orthodox Christians in America. We don't have one that's very good at it. We need to fight this anti-Christianism and promote our values better than we are right now. It's coming. We can all do this better than anybody else can in the world. I know that. It's coming. Stay tuned. Now, before we get to this Pam Bondi debacle, including this undercover video that was uncovered, proving that she's being dishonest throughout this testimony in this congressional hearing, we're going to take a quick break for today's sponsor. If you're taking ibuprofen or Tylenol every day just to deal with aches and pains, you've got to hear this. Those drugs don't solve problems, they just cover it up. For most people, the real issue is chronic inflammation. That's why I want to talk to you about Native Path krill oil and why it's actually better than regular fish oil for pain. Krill oil delivers omega-3s in a phospholipid form, which means your body absorbs them more efficiently. Fish oil just passes right through you. Krill oil also contains astaxanthin, a powerful natural antioxidant that helps protect those omega-3s and supports a healthier inflammatory response. The result? Better joint comfort, less stiffness, and support at the root cause, not just a temporary fix. And it's not just about pain. Those same omega-3s are excellent for brain health, supporting focus, memory, and overall cognitive function. This is why I'm so big on it. I've been taking krill oil for years. And what I like about the Native Path krill oil is there's no fishy burps throughout the day. I urge you to look into the benefits of krill oil as it relates to your overall health, brain health, physical health. Right now, visit getnativepath.com/Zach for more information and a special bundle deal at a fraction of the retail price, backed by a risk-free 365-day guarantee. Save your gut lining and try a cleaner, all-natural but powerful approach. Native Path krill oil helps your body manage inflammation the way it was designed to. Again, that site, GET nativepath.com. Getnativepath.com/Zach. Okay. So like I said, President Trump apparently fired CBP for standing on Orthodox Christian belief for over 2,000 years. That's unacceptable because, let's be honest, what it really was dissent of Zionist supremacy. But apparently, pull this up. Attorney General Pam Bondi, under intense fire from the Trump deranged radical left lunatics, was fantastic at yesterday's hearing on the never-ending saga of Jeffrey Epstein, where the one thing that has been proven conclusively, much to their chagrin, was that President Donald J. Trump has been 100% exonerated of their ridiculous Russia type charges. Actually, it is the slimeball Democrats, many of them big donors and politicians, that have been proven guilty. Republican loser, sanctimonious rhino, Congressman Thomas Massie, made a total fool of himself yesterday, fighting aimlessly against a hopeless agenda of hate and stupidity, as most clearly stated by his crashing job approval numbers in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. Okay, he continues on, but I think you get it. When Thomas Massie questioned Pam Bondi in the hearing room about the Epstein files, she refused to answer his questions. And then she simply returned to the same line of attack that President Trump just used right there, calling him a failed politician. Massie explained that this scandal was bigger than Watergate right here. And listen to her historically bad response to this. This is the tactic that she used all day.
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
The gentleman has
which
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
Got him. So Pam Bondi at multiple times compared her performance to past attorney generals, Merrick Garland and Bill Barr. Pam, that's not a high bar for you to compare yourself to. The purpose of you and this administration was to go in and root out all of the corruption that these previous ones have brought in. Newsflash, we didn't like the previous ones at all. Okay? But one of her answers that went viral was for her not responding to the questions being asked, and then she responded about the stock market, like the Dow being so high. And again, it's this twist and the talking points that were used to deflect away from the Epstein files and toward the good things that the Trump administration has done. This is bad messaging, and it's a bad strategy. And I don't know who is feeding Trump this information, but it's losing. But this time, and I have a feeling that I think I know why Trump said Pam Bondi did such a fantastic job, despite what all of us just saw with our own eyes. I think I know why. And it's this. Perhaps the lowest IQ exchange in American congressional history. But this is why she was fantastic. This is the hill that Pam Bondi is willing to die on. Listen.
I didn't see one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once. When he was
weak sauce.
Also, I want the record to reflect that, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh, is Jewish. I just want to be clear.
Oh,
do you want to go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious? Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member knows that.
I'm gonna.
Oh, just low IQ all around there. I mean, first of all, weak sauce. Weak sauce. And then there it is. It's got to be we all care about the Epstein files only because we're anti-Semites, you guys. That's it. All right. I want to finish this with the last undercover video that pretty much catches Pam Bondi red-handed. This is James O'Keefe who got this. Watch.
Epstein Files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
There you go. There are tens of thousands of videos, all with little kids. And the FBI has to go through every single one. Pam Bondi is the one who told us on Fox News with Jesse Waters that there were 250 plus victims. Pam Bondi is the one who told us in that same interview that these men and what they did was sick. Apparently, the rest of the files expose all of them. This is what we're being told by other congressional members. And here she is admitting the videos do exist and they include little children. So, how long are we going to keep doing this for? Trump keeps calling it a hoax because he himself is not in them. Do you understand that what we, the American people, care about is what you're doing as an administration to cover for the people that committed heinous crimes, it looks like, on little kids? We think these things about the files because this is what you all told us about them. This is an issue that is not going away, no matter how hard they try. Okay. Let's get to some of your comments. Thank you, Michael, for the donation. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Welcome, new member. Michael Kane, you became a new member. I appreciate you. Here's what I'll say, guys. What I am going to start doing is probably do a members only video, probably about once a month, where we can, maybe cover some topics and do kind of a longer form back and forth with all of us. So I will be doing a members only stream. So if you would like to become a channel member, it's not very much. It's only like $3 a month, I think. Go ahead and grab that. And then you can be a part of those member only video streams or live streams that I will do. Because I was late, you're worth waiting for. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. The Dow is at 50,000. Yes. This was a quote from Pam Bondi when she was just asked about the botching of the Epstein files. And she just responds with, you guys are asking me these questions, but the Dow is at 50,000. It's like, okay, we don't care. There are things that are more important than money, okay, than politics. Wake up. Great comment. Holistic, thank you. And here we are wondering why Turning Point USA ran to Fox News to complain about a Catholic university to denying access to their chapter. We don't need re-education on the Catholic faith. I totally agree, and that is an important comment. We do not need more Zionist infiltration into our Catholic faith or any of the other more Orthodox believing traditions. I mean, look, we need to fight to root this out. It was extremely disappointing to see the Catholic League, who was supposed to be defending the First Amendment rights of Catholics in America, come out and do this to one of our own. Like, that's just crazy. That's insane. They literally chose the side of Zionism. Zionist infiltration is real, and it is serious. And Turning Point USA, I'm glad you brought that up. Turning Point USA is a big reason for the Zionist infiltration into our politics and government. They're a powerful organization, and Charlie was a Zionist for a long time. Obviously, we've been talking at length about how he was moving to change from that direction, take Turning Point USA in a new direction. But as I've said before, that was his mistake. He was young. I mean, he believed those things at the time. He was influenced by that Ted Cruz type of theology. And he was starting to recognize the truth and come back to more Orthodox Christian belief. Unfortunately for him, it was too late. And now here they are Turning Point USA doing the same, and then complaining on Fox News, like you said, that Catholic universities, I think it was St. John's, if I remember correctly, that wouldn't let them in. Good on St. John's. Good on St. John's. We got to maintain the integrity of these institutions and these organizations that we do have. Thanks for that. Soul Dad, Jesus Christ is King. Amen. Jinx, Zach, keep up the good work. Please consider starting or ending the show with a Bible verse. Just throwing that out there. Ted Cruz is such a doofus. Yeah, I've been doing that. I not been doing it, but I did it. I've done it a few times since I started this live. I do think that's important. It keeps us on the path. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna open it up. Let's just open it up and see what comes to us today. How about that? Let's see what happens. Matthew chapter 18. The greatest in the kingdom. At that time, the disciples approached Jesus and said, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child over, placed it in their midst, and said, "Amen, I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever receives one child such as this, in my name receives me." Yeah, since having kids and having children, that really actually starts to make a lot more sense to me. And the way that children are just able to believe in God, and just with a knowing, with just a pure faith that God is there, and there's no question about it. Like they go about their day. I remember when I was a kid and I just had like a childlike faith, and this is probably the case for a lot of you guys, but you could almost just like go through the day and you just like knew God was there, and you could just kind of have conversations with God. That faith was so incredible. And it's so like joy bringing and yeah, I mean, and peaceful. I remember feeling like that as a kid. It's crazy. You know, you get into this world and you see all of this, like you see the world of social media, and you see the world of all of these religious and ideological debates that we're in with each other. You see all the proofs of God and all the logic and all the knowledge that has to exist around it, right? I've actually found, because, you know, as I grew up and as I was kind of introduced to the world and introduced to kind of atheist and secular ideology trying to pull me away from my faith. And you want to equip yourself. You want to know how to defend the faith. So you want to learn all of these different types of things. But I would say that kind of learning the knowledge and learning, you know, about the arguments and the proofs of God and all that stuff actually decreased my childlike faith in God. It's like the logical understanding of God and who God is, while it can be useful, that's not actually like pure and true faith like a child. So I think that's what Jesus is talking about. Like, unless you become like a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. That is full and utter dependence on God, and that childlike faith where you know God's there and you're fully dependent on God. Thanks for that. Thanks for that recommendation. That's a good call. We need to keep up that habit. So a part of you guys coming here every day is to also ensure that we are aligned on the path, which comes from Scripture. Yeah, and guess what? I'm a Catholic, and I read Scripture every day and every morning with commentary of church fathers. And yeah, I mean, I know the criticism of a lot of Catholics, we don't read the Bible. We read a lot of the Bible. You are Favely. I'm doing my best here with your guys' tags. Did you say Turning Point USA halftime show view numbers seemed reasonable? Candace Owens showed how those numbers did not make sense. Why did it make sense to you, or did I just misunderstand you? Keep up the good work. Yeah, I saw Candace's take on that. And look, I don't know for sure. I mean, I really don't. But what I can say, I mean, my argument was that just overall, like the numbers that Turning Point USA actually pulled were not super crazy, just given the total concurrent views that the Super Bowl pulls. Like, I think Bad Bunny got like 130 million concurrent views. So Turning Point USA only getting like maybe 6 or 7. Well, that's quite an accomplishment for like an alternative social media show. Like, that's a great YouTube video, for example. It's not like a crazy amount of concurrent views when you look at just the overall market of concurrent views. All right. So that was kind of my argument. You know what else? I just want to add this little data point, and it's not, look, it is what it is. I don't appreciate how Turning Point USA misled us that it was like a live thing and that it was pre-recorded. I think that is kind of a bait and switch. Like, I can go in on my software here. Maybe I told you guys this on the streaming software, and anybody on YouTube or any of these live streams can do this. You can actually choose the option to go live with a pre-recorded video. That to me is not ethical. Like, if that's not disclosed to you guys that the video is pre-recorded and this is not a live show, but you're tuning in and thinking that it's live, to me, that's not ethical. So I feel like they did that to us, and I don't appreciate that. In all fairness, like, kind of consistent with Candace, like, I enjoyed the artist that performed. I thought Brantley Gilbert's Dirt Road Anthem was awesome. Like, I like Brantley Gilbert. I like Lee Brice. I have no problem with the artist. I really just had a problem with the way that I feel like, misled us about it being live. And then here's what I'll say, because I think Candace was looking at the metrics of how many comments that they received based on the overall showing of the video. And I want you guys to do me a favor. One of my favorite songs that I listen to a lot on YouTube, I generally listen to my music playlist on YouTube, is Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, live in Buffalo. I think it has like 140 million or so views on it, but the comments on it are a lot lower. So I think the type of video, like Candace was comparing like her 3.5 million view video and then looking at her comments on that video. But she's doing political commentary where I feel like leaving comments and engaging in a chat is much more likely than you are to just watch a music video on YouTube. So use that example. Go and look at maybe your favorite song on YouTube and then check out like just the song, the music video, or just like a performance. And then go and look at the comments on that video and look at that ratio and then see how they compare to the Turning Point USA halftime show and then like a Candace Owens commentary video. I think that's a good check on what Candace is saying there. Another option could be go and look at the Turning Point USA halftime show, see how many comments there are, and then go and look at the Kendrick Lamar halftime show from last year and then see how many comments there are. My guess, or I guess, maybe my take on the numbers is that these comments are just not as common on these types of like music entertainment videos than they are on more of like the commentary videos, where I think people are more likely to share their opinion and their ideas on things. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it's not really a huge deal. If Turning Point USA is fudging their numbers, then yes, that is a big deal. I agree with you. For me and my take, like, I guess I just don't see that. I need to see more, I guess is what I'm saying. Intuition Jen, you gifted 5 Zach Costello memberships. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm not really 100% sure how gifting memberships work, but thank you. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. Again, I need to make those memberships more meaningful, and I think doing a member live stream is good, and that's what I will do. So if you guys would like to be members, make sure you sign up. Always be true, a regular here. Thank you. The infiltration in the Catholic Church runs deep. Agreed. I read an article wrote by Kate Scanlon where she basically calls CPB and Candace Owens anti-Semitic. Yeah. I mean, look, guys, I mean, you know, these institutions, they are not immune to evil and false teaching and bad actors. You know, we know this. We know this is the case. This is a part of the battle. Okay. But again, it's actually crazy to see even the strength and the influence that the Zionist part, the Zionist part, the power that they have and the influence that they have in any sphere, whether it be the Catholic Church, whether it be at the political or governmental levels, like whether it be the evangelical denominations, like it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, we have some work to do. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I put up a post on X that said you got a lot of Catholics, a lot of Orthodox Christians, but a lot of Catholics coming out of the woodwork to say, as a Catholic or as a former Catholic, and then condemn CPB or Candace Owens about how anti-Semitic they were. What I did say is this, and this got traction. I said there's a lot of these Catholics emerging from the woodwork to talk about what real Catholic teaching is on this subject. Here's a question. Do they attend Mass weekly? Do they practice the sacraments of the church? Do they go to the sacrament of confession and reconciliation? Do they receive the Eucharist in a state of grace every week? Are they participating and are they practicing Catholics? Before they come out and say these things, before they come out and condemn other people for not being Catholic enough. Yeah, the criticism on CPB was that she's a new Catholic, so she's not allowed to say anything. Bill Donahoe from the Catholic League said the same thing. Look, she stated a simple Christian truth, and she did it accurately. So her words are backed up by 2,000 years of Orthodox Christian belief, teachers, commentators, and saints. So she shouldn't be too worried about it. Thanks for the comment, though. But yeah, we got to be aware of what's going on. And I think one of the first and foremost things is like, all right, are you practicing the faith? A lot of people are Catholic in name only. There's a lot of cultural Catholics out there that you need to watch out for. Saved by Grace, thank you. Love watching you, Zach. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for engaging me here in the super chat. Sarah Bryan, thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Rosemary, what's your take on Mormon ultra-Zio beliefs on bringing together 10 lost tribes of Israel? I DM'd you on TikTok, Tyler Boyer, LDS, discussing this. I don't know much about this subject, to be honest with you. I'll need to look into it more. I'm not 100% sure. I've engaged with members of the LDS church, I guess you can say. Previously, we've gone back and forth on, you know, the differences between, you know, the more Orthodox traditions and the LDS beliefs. The LDS, believe it or not, they think that they are in line with the authority of the church. They believe that Joseph Smith is in the line of Peter, which is kind of shocking and pretty funny. I guess I didn't know that. But in any case, I don't know much about this topic, but I will look into it and get back to you on this, especially if Tyler Boyer's talking about it and discussing it. I think that's important. So thanks for the comment. I will look into that. Ginger Teller, I love the random open the Bible and read. Yeah, I think that turned out well. That was cool. I don't know. Maybe do we do it random every day? I don't know. Maybe sometimes we do it random. Maybe sometimes I find something that I think is worth sharing with you guys. There you go. Yes to Bible verses. Let's do it. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day. I hope this added value to you. Hope this brought you closer to the truth. And make sure you guys check out ZachCostello.com. Get yourself some merch. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. I'm Zach Costello.